Here we are for some CVT action in Katowice group stage. Two of the GOATs here in the bottom left hand corner on 2000 atmospheres. It's the Serral player, the man, the legend. It's Serral. His opponent in the blue instead. And from Mexico, it's Special. It's just so amazing to see these two players face against each other every once in a while. Especially for some of us a little bit older fans. Special being out there for such a long time, always at the top level. Serral, what is there to say about him anymore? Such an insane player, always at the top. And of course, our very own first world champion from not Korea, so let's not forget about that. With a 16 pool actually, not going for an early archery, just being a little bit defensive, makes a lot of sense. Special is well known for being sometimes over aggressive in the early game. And honestly, in this tournament so far, we've seen a lot of early aggression from many players. There's different reasons for it. Of course, sometimes it's just not trusting your matchup good enough to beat some of these top tier players. While sometimes it's just a kind of an easy way to sneak in a victory. In some situations, some maps, you feel like some sneaky racks or some link rushes can go a long way. Of course, Special knows his stuff. He's gonna realize this is a kind of a later archery, so he's not gonna lose his SCV for free. And actually not even producing Reapers, he's gonna go for the Marines. That making a lot more sense with the SCV Scout as well. And of course, having to be going to be forced to have some Marines back home or Reapers back home. Well, units back home, most likely. Just to defend against the early lanes, otherwise paying the price of having his command center delayed for a little while. So it's not like the Reaper can move out and do stuff, so it's better off into Marines. It's a 16 pool. It's not like Serral is about to send like a million lanes on the other side of the map. It's just these 4. Kept out there for scouting, kept out there for maybe try and delay the command center, even though that's too late for that. Maybe try and kill an SCV, which will probably not happen. But right now you can see the Marines out of Special trying to go on the map, trying to kill overloads. Actually, Serral managed to get an SCV, but the depots, of course, will be raised and will stop the Zerg player from getting any amount of damage in the main base of Juanito. Serral going for one of the most underestimated upgrades in the game. Pneumatized Carapace for the overloads, overload speed. Such a good upgrade, honestly. It's a little bit weird because it delays your 4th or 5th queen, or maybe sometimes even the 3rd, if you want to go for that early of an overload speed. But it pays off for itself so quickly. Overload speed, you're pretty much always going to need it, especially in this matchup. You need Overseers to be fast. Meanwhile, this bunker over here is kind of beautiful. Very interesting play on the side of Special, I really like this. But anyhow, it's not like you're never gonna need it. It's always something you want to have. Overseers need to fly fast. And of course, having overloads on the map and being able to move them around to fly away from medivacs full of Marines or the likes of that, it's always a good thing. It pays off in pretty much any matchup that isn't ZVZ, honestly. In a very easy way. It's not pricey. And it resets pretty fast as well. So I really love seeing it being taken. You can see over here, Serral moving his queens forward to keep the SCV away from the bunker, avoiding from being repaired. One of the queens actually fall down with not enough energy on this queen over here to transfuse it. So Serral is going to lose one of these queens to stop that bunker from getting too much damage. Special is going to lose the bunker, 3 marines and an SCV. But of course, his aggression is not over yet. You can see this overload over here traveling very fast and realizing what is happening. The Lings are trying to get around these aliens. They don't manage to though. Marines are getting in position to stop the aliens from getting too much damage. That's 11 drones being transferred over here in this base. Here comes the auto turret as well. It doesn't really look like Special manages to find a way into that mineral line. But of course, forcing a lot of mining time, it's still a very good thing. And now that Serral is getting a 4th base, Special suddenly has a little bit more room to maneuver. Of course, Serral has good map vision, has good understanding about what is going on, and he's getting his stack slow and steady. He doesn't need to rush anything. He has queens for defense. There's a lot of links for defense. And it's a beautiful Evo chamber block, losing only the 1 drone and a couple links here and there. But not allowing these aliens from getting into the mineral line. Evo chambers wall off. It's something that was never used so properly. It's been, I think it's like 2 years, maybe a little bit less, that we started seeing these Evo chambers stopping these aliens from getting too much damage. It's not something that players were doing that good, that clean for a long while. Willingness going up, especially is gonna get a lot of vision of what is going on in Serral's base, but he's going to commit his aliens for that. And honestly, losing most of them without getting too much, not getting to the mineral line, actually getting much more damage than I was thinking with 6 drones being killed. Special is not just gonna sacrifice his aliens, he's gonna take something down with them. And honestly, that's much more than I was expecting out of those aliens. Against Serral, at least. You can get some sneaky way of winning games and getting a lot of damage against some players. Against Serral, aliens just not gonna cut it. Special did make a lot of them. He gained a little bit of map control. It slowed down Serral's taking up for quite a while. And he even managed to get a little bit of damage. Of course, that's a lot of aliens. That is not resources and time well spent for those factories. But in the end, he got some damage. He got a queen as well over here. The Widowmine is gonna try and take a shot. He gets a shot at the queen and a Novus here as well. The Banelings are trying to make their way, getting a beautiful Widowmine connection. Special decimating the links out of Serral. And with a very low effort, Special actually manages to deal quite a good blow to the defenses of Serral. Nothing too major, nothing like Special is about to win a major engagement. It's just stuff that's adding up slowly. You need more, but it's a good step in the right direction for the Terran player, who's of course the underdog. Special moving on the northwestern side to try and stop creep as much as possible and having a little bit more room to maneuver. The links will get us around. The Medivacs will... Oh wow, that's another beautiful Widowmine shot. Special in the lead in supply all of a sudden. +1/+1. Such a key upgrade. Threshold kicking in very soon. Serral, as you can see, getting a lot of value out of these very fast overloads and overseers. Dropping down a contamination on the starport, stopping those 2 Medivacs from popping off for a little while. Meanwhile, a couple Banelings are making their way towards this fur base.
Mineral field depleted.
But we have here more creep tumors being sniped away by Special. And Serral kind of struggling taking control. Oh wow, that was very close. That was very, very close. Those Banelings were about to end. Those Marines all career cancel on this base over here. Here comes the Banelings. And will they get connections? Yes, they will. All the efforts of Special. Down the sink they go. With Serral managing to destroy the economy of Special. Killing 17 SCVs. Stopping Juanito from getting way too ahead of himself. With a lot of workers, that's the TY way and the Special's way. That's how they play Terran. And losing these many SCVs is definitely something. Lots of creep tumors going down as well. These Banelings are going to complete just at the right moment. Marines are very bruised. They cannot really fight head on, not against +1/+1 leans. Over here, instead, more Marines are being transferred around by these medivacs from base to base, trying to get more damage. Serral is going to try and get around with his surround. And of course, Juanito not really paying too much attention, but he needs to go back home because another Painling Rampai was about to end his economy for good. 7 workers go down, while Serral is winning on the defensive engagement as well. Widowmine's shot gaining the major bulk of the leans, but still Special doesn't really have enough and losing quite a bit too many units left and right. Without a better economy, forced him in a little bit of a bad spot all of a sudden. Special was doing fine, but trying to multi-prong Serral in a little bit too many position while Serral was biting back and didn't manage to keep up with the speed of the Zerg player. Now Serral is gonna try and take control of this watchtower as well. Special paying attention, not gonna lose too much. Gonna fly back home. +2/+2 for Special. He's in the making. That's a huge army of Serral trying to collapse on top of these planetary. It doesn't really look like there's enough for defense. The planetary is gonna go down. Meanwhile, Marines are gonna try and stop another Painling run by over here. They will manage, but the planetary goes down, and so do many more SCVs. It's not looking very good for Specially. I would say it's looking quite grim. With 2 battle cruisers popping out right now, looking a little bit like a desperation play out of Special. Not managing again to find damage with these medivacs trying to drop around the outlets, but not fly away fast enough to escape the bullets of Special's army. 3 battle cruisers in the making at the same time, looking almost like a mech transition, with 2 tanks being produced at a time as well instead of the Widowmines that Special has been producing so far. But Serral already has muscular augments, bruised spines, and +2/+2 melee and Carapace about to finish, as well as adrenal glands and of course Lurker Dam being popped. And of course, that also means Lurker upgrades with range and tunneling close. More SCVs falling down for Special. Stuck behind a wall of 160 supply for basically the whole game, never managing to get past that. Now battlecruisers are definitely going to help with that, but 11 SCVs going down will take the counter to a little bit too high, to be completely honest with you. 44? That's a lot of dead SCVs against the only 10 drones that Serral lost throughout this whole game. Special will try and get even more crit tumors over here on the left side. But Serral is getting yet another base. This base is a little bit curious. Why not this one? Yeah, I guess he needs minerals, but I don't know. It's going to take also this base in the bottom right. Serral fully in control of the map so far. Special not really managing to take control even of his 4 base position, which is honestly kind of crazy on 2000 atmospheres. It's not like the hardest map to defend on 4 bases. They might be a little bit spread away, but they had a lot of choke points to defend in. The battle cruisers will jump in and will try to get as much damage as possible. The Vipers, are they going to be enough for defense? One of the Vipers goes down, dropping a parasitic bomb on top of one of these battle cruisers. 4 of them are enough to deal a lot of damage even to the Hydras. Here comes the Armada Cannon with Rebel Philippine Resurgent destroying these Hydras. The switch out of Special was almost catching Serral by surprise, but those parasitic bombs, those Hydras, and this huge counterattack were much more than enough to end the game. Serral takes game number 1. Clearing Ashes is another decent proxy map. I wouldn't be surprised to see Serral going for, the hatch pool, the gas hatch. Oh my god, the gas pool hatch opener, aka 16 pool. It's much easier to defend with it, and it gets also a little bit of scouting information without delaying your economy by too much. Almost nothing, to be completely honest. Like, it's a matter of like 20 seconds delayed on your lair, which is something that you can live with. And honestly, the possibility of losing to a proxy, it's much more scary. It also allows you to go for something a little bit aggressive, like aggressive scouting links. It's still a macro opening, but getting like 6 links over here in this natural and trying to stop this command center for a little while, it's still a very good thing. Again, we have a Marine first out of special. Not really caring too much about getting a Reaper and getting some scouting information. I'm a little bit surprised not to see any SCV being sent out for scouting. It is a little bit of a surprise. I think special is just gonna acknowledge that Serral is probably going to go for the same build twice in a row. It's a very Serral thing to stick to whatever is working and adapt very fast on the run. If someone plays very aggressive against him, he starts to play extremely defensive. And that's the history of his longest series. Really getting a lot in the way of recovering by playing defensive in successive games in the matchup. Again, going for low speed. I truly respect it. As I was trying to explain in the previous game, I do really think it's an underestimated upgrade. You can see Serral. He's gonna have the 2 queens. He's got the 3 queens, sorry. Oh, actually, it's just the 2. No, yeah, it's 3. And he's gonna drop down Crypt Tumors. He's gonna have enough queens to inject all of his archeries. So it's not gonna be a big deal. It's not like Terran doesn't stop you from getting early Crypt Tumors anyway. So it's honestly almost a no-brainer. It delays again your lair by a little bit due to yourself not having quite enough gas. But the amount of value this gets, it's just outstanding, especially against early Marines. But also in a situation in which you just send stuff out for... Wait, that's an armory. Yo, that's an armory. There's nothing next to this. There's already medevac out. Is this an alien push? Wait, no mine drop? Yo. Special getting fancy over here. Serral is gonna get a lot out of the scouting information he got. It looks like he's expecting aliens? But that's not what is going on. This Widowmine will never see the light of day, and he immediately destroyed. Here comes the 4 aliens, getting into an empty base with 2 queens defending it. No way they can get damage over there. The Widowmine trying to burrow down. Will it burrow down? No, it will not. It was so close. But Serral knows what is up and will kill the Widowmine before it burrows to get any damage. The armor is complete. Now these Hellbats can try and get damage. Meanwhile, the other side of the map, this Overlord is getting perfect information. Drilling close, being researched, a Liberator getting out. Serral knows all about that. And now he's also trying to bite back. The wall is down. Will it be up? For when these links come running in? Special, please. No, special. That's just no way. There's almost nothing for defense. Yes, there's 3 Marines, but it's SCVs fighting against the Lins. And this is a disaster for special. His economy is in shambles. GG gets cold and Serral gets the series.